Hello and welcome to a podcast with no theme, no direction, and three hosts who have no idea what they're doing. It is currently 2:32 a.m. and you are listening to the late night ramblings of madmen. I am joined by our two co-hosts, Andrew and Grant.
Hello. What's up, people?
Hi, hello, howdy. Thank you, John. Just a quick disclaimer, actually, for anyone who's listening to this one. If my voice sounds odd, I am a little under the weather, if you will. So, just a disclaimer, but nothing stops the podcast. So.
Not even a little sickness.
Not even
No, I could have the bubonic plague and we'd still record. That's not true.
I have no idea why I'm using my 1950 voice.
Because it's slow and measured.
Yes,
and easy to understand.
And I'm afraid I cannot stop.
Someone
help me,
okay.
Please.
I guess we're doing a 1950s theme podcast. So, communism. I'm kidding.
Yep. The red wave sweeps over New York. Are these red-blooded, dirty commies going to take over the beautiful land of America? Or shall the people rise up? You know, that sort of thing.
That kind of sounded a little British, actually.
It was BBC radio, I know.
British.
I realized it.
Yeah.
Ironically, you're gonna say, Harold, the Fox aren't doing that well, you say.
Ironically, our first subject is about greedy game companies. What do you guys think? Personally,
a lot of unpack
going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
I was recently explaining this to my grandfather last time I saw him, which was like a long time ago, and he was like flabbergasted by how like greedy these companies have gotten, or like how far gaming has, you know, fell off, if you will. But
yes.
Well,
why don't you unpack that for the viewers?
Yes, I should. So, the stuff I was kind of talking about is the way that the best example, of course, who people bully the most about it, and they deserve it, is Electronic Arts, or EA games. And
Ooh, the memes.
Yeah, for the memes. EA Sports, it's in the game. But EA is decently bad. The things that's so shady about them is, imagine you buy a game, right? $60. That is a lot. I mean, when you can get so many good indie games, which we'll talk about some of those later, but you can get so many good indie games for stuff like $5, $12. There are even amazing games that are free. On places like Steam, it's hard for a lot of people to consider buying a $60 game, so it better be good. But then think about this. There are EA games that are $60 that literally basically use a free-to-play format where, like, you think Fortnite, right? Because it doesn't get any money from you buying it, you could hypothetically play it forever, never spend any money. They don't want that, so they get you to buy stuff like a battle pass or skins. But EA is even worse because you can literally, in a lot of EA sports games, buy athletes, like characters, and like
it's like real life.
Yeah. And the problem with that is that helps your team. You can just be better in multiplayer. You've already spent $60 and you're spending, and you can't just say, I want Cristiano Ronaldo. You have to buy like packs, open them. Maybe you'll get them, maybe you get duplicates. They kind of, it's like a gotcha format, like gotcha games, where there are literally games where the whole idea of the game is you buy capsules to just get these things that are assigned value. And like the game companies can make them as valuable or as least valuable, or as rare as little rare as they want them to. And I don't know, I disagree with it.
They keep buying it, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is,
people do.
Next year, what's even more, the reason it's like even worse with like the EA things is they're also on a yearly basis. There's a new game coming out for like FIFA, all those every year. And until what they need to do for FIFA to basically try to, which they can at this point, they've screwed everything up. Either go $60 every year, no in-game purchases, but they won't, or free to play, games as a service model, so it renews every year. Continue in-app purchases, but at the same time, it's still going to be pay to win. So there's pretty much.
I can
darned if you do, darned if you don't situation.
I can relate to this by the F1 games that I play. I think those are EA Sports, and I am a massive Formula One fan. And every year they always come out with F1 2021, F1 22, and I'm sure this year F1 23, and they just the thing, I could justify buying a yearly game, and this is going to apply to so much more than just Formula One and even EA, but I could justify buying a new game every year if they were different, but they're not. It's just the same game. The F1 22, a great example. F1 2021 and F1 22, there's really not a lot of difference. I mean, sure, they added a few new game modes and stuff, but there's not really that much difference except for the 2022 rosters and paint schemes or liveries and just like the driver changes and stuff like that. There's not that much of a difference. And so I end up going like 3 years without buying an F1 game, and then I'll buy one again. Like I bought F1 2021, probably not going to get my next F1 game till like 24 or 25 because I can't just keep spending $60 a year on this. And like I have to space them out, and I can't just keep buying them year after year after year. And then, as you said, the in-app purchases, those kill. And so I could even understand buying yearly games if one, they weren't as expensive, and two, they change it up a bit and didn't just copy paste the original game, but with the driver/team changes.
Yeah,
That's just my take.
Personally, for
It
me,
kind of seems like a hard life being addicted to watching go in circles, you know?
it ruined Skylanders for me.
Yeah.
You guys remember Skylanders?
Wait, what?
Yes, I used to love Skylanders.
If they just
Say your piece, John, and then I'm about to
3 years.
demolish you in a second, so go ahead.
If they
Oh,
released
he's
it every 2
vicious.
years, they could have prolonged the life of the game for so long. Andrew, go ahead.
Oh, he's out for blood. You heard his precious Skylanders.
It is not the same, and it should not even be kept on the same, remotely the same level as something like EA, because the thing with Skylanders, right, you're not purchasing a... Okay, when you buy something in a game, it's not real. The only thing that's real about it is your enjoyment of it. Does that make sense? With Skylanders, you're buying a toy, and they're basically marketing to children. You can, if you want to, right, when mommy says no more screen time, you can sit on the carpet with your Spyro and your Trigger Happy and
I'm gonna
play
be
with
honest,
them, right?
I did that exact same thing as a kid. I would play with the
So did I.
games.
I didn't have the games as a kid. I got them later in life. I just wanted the Skylanders because they were the coolest toys that existed. I would just play with them. So I think
remember Skylanders.
Skylanders is a different animal that can't be replicated because it was kind of there was a sort of multimedia element to it that was very good that I think companies I know Lego I've heard some stuff they're trying to
Disney tried.
dip into technology more and more.
Right.
Yeah, Lego made Dimensions, but Lego is trying to dip into technology more and more because they're actually, believe it or not, Lego Dimensions was so popular that Warner Brothers stopped updating it. The reason was no one was buying any more Warner Brothers games because that was the only one, because Warner Brothers made all the Lego games, right? And why would you buy Lego Star Wars when you could buy a couple Lego Star Wars figures and play the Lego Star Wars Dimensions game, right? So they shut it down because it was eclipsing their sales. It was more popular than it was like so well selling, which is cool. But yeah, I mean,
why not get more into it then?
Because you can't just max out one thing. Like you can't just I guess they could go all in on toy selling, but then your whole video game industry, as Andrew pointed out, just kind of goes to crap. And so you got to space it out more. You can't just throw all your eggs in that basket. Because what if something happens to that? What if production issues? That's
my
huge.
reason.
What if production issues happen?
Here's something to think about. Let's say you need $50 a year to keep your company afloat, right? And you have a bunch of products. They'll make you like 5, right? And let's say one $5 product makes you so much money, it's worth like $20, right? But because it's worth that $20 worth, it's so popular that all the things that usually make you 5 now are making you 1. Now instead of the $50 you need, you only have 20. 20 instead of 5 is great, but 20 instead of 50, no bueno. And I think that's their problem because it was eclipsing their own sales and they were seeing a decline in money overall.
Yeah.
And great point by Grant. What if, like, because games are so cyclical, what if kids are like, I'm done playing with you? Or when because the big problem with toys is a generation of kids grows out of them and you don't know if the generation below them is going to retain the
That
same
is
interest.
so true. Oh man, that's so
It's
true.
why it's
Yeah.
tough business. Like certain things are dinosaurs. If you're making dinosaur toys, you're set. As long as there are kids, there will be a market for dinosaur toys, stuff like that. But if it's like a brand specific thing, you don't know what the next fad's going to be.
Right.
So you need
That's
a
very
bottom
true.
line.
Yeah. I just wish that they like spread out the games a little bit longer. You know?
Well, you got to think about the market of the time. You got to think about the gaming climate of the time, John. That sound like such a what's it called? But like
Early 2010s gaming. Oh, how we love you.
back then, every game was a yearly release, unless you're like Nintendo and you waited to make just masterpieces. They everything was like COD. There were so many COD games. Like that's how games were. It was a constant release of games. So they didn't know anything else, and it was working very well for a while until it stopped working. Mostly because their games kept getting better marginally in certain ways, and then they made superchargers. But I don't want to talk too much about that. I'm going to start ranting and.
If I can just interject real quick, the funny thing
Go
about
ahead, Brett.
Skylanders is that I didn't really get into it until a little later. And fun fact, Superchargers was my first Skylanders game, which why kid me decided to stick with Skylanders after that.
Pause for a
Just
second. I'll tell you
awful
right now
Superchargers.
why it was your first game, because you like watching things go in circles. And when you saw that Skylanders
They
could go in
didn't.
circles,
They
you
didn't.
pounced.
They didn't. They did not. The sensor would not even work. The sensor was horrible, and the characters were
Oh,
lame.
yeah, I
I
remember
decided to
that.
get another one.
Same issue here, yeah.
I decided to get Spyro's Adventure, and oh man, then I was in love with Skylanders, and I love Spyro's Adventure. But why I decided to stick with Skylanders after Superchargers, I have no idea why. I don't regret it at all, by the way. But that is a fun little fact. Superchargers, the worst game, was actually my first game, and somehow I decided to stick with it.
Huh.
I actually have a similar story with that. My first full playthrough, because with Skylanders, I would play with them at my friend's house. I never got them. My parents got me a game and they realized I never played it. Like I didn't even turn it on. I only played with the toys themselves. They're like, Andrew, can we just return this and buy you some Skylanders? And I was like, yes. And they were like, okay. So that happened, but then like I never played Skylanders really on my own because I wasn't much of a gamer as a child. But with my dad, I was at Five Below, and they had Skylanders Imaginators, the whole game, disc, portal, toys, and everything for the low price of like $5 because it was Five Below, and we got it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably their second worst game objectively, but I loved it. I had so much fun playing it, and since then I've gotten all the other games and played them. They're so fun.
Was that the one? No, I'm thinking of Swap Force. No, I haven't thought about Skylanders in so long. I don't really remember all the different things. I remember Swap Force. I remember like obviously Spyro's Adventure. That was awesome. And then there's a few others, man. I kind of forget. I need to revisit those again. Those were so good, such quality. Except for Superchargers, we don't talk about that.
I mean, even Minecraft has gotten greedy with
Mine coins. Oh my gosh.
Mine coins. We do talk about what we dislike about Minecraft. I feel like a bit too much on here though.
Yeah.
That is true.
What do you guys like about Minecraft, other than the Red Dragon, Andrew?
Let's go in turns. Who wants to go first? Because we would just be cutting each other off the entire time.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Redstone.
I won't go first.
Redstone is amazing.
Okay, let's let John go first. He's the host.
Redstone is amazing. I love just fiddling with it in a creative world. What about y'all?
Okay, Andrew, you want to go?
No matter how much they like to fiddle with it, and no matter how much they try to destroy my dreams, the one thing that will always be good to me about Minecraft is the overall aesthetic. As long as you could just get yourself to a nice place, away from all of the sniffers and the edited little dudes in the cherry biome, if you can just get to a nice spot where that looks like the old game. It is even a lot of people hate the new textures, and I don't hate the new textures. I think they're pretty cool. I like the way the game looks. There's something like the nostalgia in like the looks is still there for me. Um, and I think that's why for just the visual aesthetic, the nostalgia is great there for me.
That's understandable. As for me, I think my favorite thing about Minecraft is just the social interactions you can get from it. Like, and when I say that, I mean how Minecraft has become so much more than just your average game. It's like a lot of online components and stuff go into it too, and which I would know a lot about because I spend like literally 90% of my time on Minecraft on online games such as the Hive and Mineplex, and I think I played a little bit of Lifeboat, and then I go on Java every now and then and get destroyed in Hypixel because I can't fight on Java PvP. But I just like the online games and how creative they are. Sure, there's a lot of toxic 9-year-olds, but what online game isn't? And I think you can also get pretty creative. The Hive, my personal favorite server, just released a new game called Block Party, which is basically like it's like basically you got to stand on the right color that it shows you, and then all the other colors disappear and stuff. Just the little mini games and the little things about online Minecraft that make it really cool. And I don't really do a lot of solo games. I spend most of my time online, so it's definitely a great way for me to enjoy Minecraft in that way.
Another thing that I like about Minecraft are the mods that people make. Especially this week's mod, Pixelmon. I'm guessing you guys, like even the viewers, kind of know what Pixelmon is, but let me just quickly catch everyone up. It's basically Pokemon, but in Minecraft. Hence the name Pixelmon, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice and simple.
Oh, I've seen it. It's very cool looking. Continue.
Like you can get Pokeballs. I love that. Like, coolest thing about it is that you can manufacture Pokeballs yourself, so you don't have to buy them.
Oh, that's nice.
Pokemon aren't contained to one specific area. So if you go to a forest, you're gonna find forest Pokemon. So you can find bug, basically any type of Pokemon, in the common sense area.
Yeah, that's true. That's cool. Anything else we want to say on that?
We were actually, I don't know if you'll remember, before the server, the Spicy's Realm server that we all did together.
Oh, yes.
We were considering doing a Pixelmon server.
Oh, yes. Coming in 2024.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I might have found a way to do it for free.
Viewers at Pixelmon SMP. Let's go.
This brings up something very interesting that I've thought about. I think we need to, and this is not an announcement, we don't know if this is happening, but there might be in the future, a little teaser, coming some extra, not the podcast content on the podcast channel of the three of us in some multiplayer games. I think that'd be very cool if we tried that.
On our Not a Gaming podcast.
Yeah, it's not a gaming podcast. No, we just play games because they're fun. It's not a gaming podcast, though.
It would be
Yes.
Idiot A, Idiot J, and Idiot G.
Yes.
Have you guys seen the trailers for Tears of the Kingdom?
I have not seen the trailer.
I have.
But I read descriptions about it, and man, Nintendo.
Man,
speaking of not a gaming podcast, it looks very good. The original Breath of the Wild was incredible. Probably one of my favorite games I've ever played. This one, I think, do you know the theory, John, about the Triforce trilogy, where Skyward Sword is the whole idea was what's it called? I just blanked out here. Basically, the idea being, there's it's power, courage, and Wisdom, yes. So the original one had a red motif with his bird that he rides on being red. That was power because the bad guy sort of started the Demise as the villain of that one. And he sort of starts the cycle of power, of trying to get power that sort of culminates with Ganon later in the series. Then the main thing with Breath of the Wild is like blue because the Sheikah tech is blue, wisdom, technology, that sort of thing. Which means this one might be extra scary because the green motifs and how like dark it looks is probably going to be based on courage. I think this is going to be a very good game. I think they're just not showing their full hand. A lot of people are worried about it because there doesn't seem to be much, and I see where they're coming with that. Like there doesn't seem to be like as much different from this when it compared to something like the original Breath of the Wild. It might just be Breath of the Wild plus Sky, but also I think there's going to be an immense underground area. I'm not worried at all about this. I have full faith in them. It had better freaking be good because of how long it took, and I'm super excited. I've already got my heart set. I'm getting the deluxe edition that comes with like a pin set and a box case and like an art book and stuff. So
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Speaking on new games, have you guys heard anything about Atomic Heart?
Oh yeah, the Russian BioShock.
boy, have I. So because there are a lot of many people might be playing this game because it reminds them of Bioshock or for the visual aesthetic, or for maybe the Russian aspect. They like Russian stuff. For me, and I haven't played it, and I will not be playing it for moral reasons. But for many people, they're watching it. They're going there for two very specific reasons. Sorry, and those two specific reasons may be metallic, faceless, and curvaceous. If you've seen any of the media, there are these two woman robots, and they have broken the entire internet.
Oh
Um,
no.
the thing is though, it's like there there seems to be a correlation between the greasiest of gunk gamers and liking faceless characters. Like a lot of like people really because think about this.
It's
It's
easier to
easier-
objectify them.
yes, exactly. And not only that, it's easier to put whatever you're imagining onto them. Like maybe if a lot of people want to play a faceless protagonist because they can more easily project themselves into that character as they're playing. And I'm sure no, I can't make that joke. Anyway, Atomic Heart. I've seen a lot of people who are sort of saying that Atomic Heart is like because it's like a Russian. It is a Russian game, right? It's made by
Yeah,
Russian developed. Yeah,
I
that
think
it's sort of
so.
feeding in. Like I saw this like article. It was like, "Don't buy Atomic Heart" because it's like feeding into Putin's regime or like him going against Ukraine or wherever. I personally do not agree with that. I think you can buy the game if you want to. I will not be buying the game because um reasons. So yeah, but if you do enjoy, I guess. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Any thoughts, guys?
I mean, I read a review about it, and it did seem like a very polished game. Say what you want about the developers and the developers' country, but it does look like a really good game. Again, I probably won't get it just because I don't really like single player games. They just don't really do it for me. I always prefer online games, just because I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like whenever I play a single player game, like I'm not really making any progress, but like you can actually like flex on people in an online game. I don't know. But deep down, single player games just aren't as interesting for me. I'm sure this game is, really well done and really well designed and crafted. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna get it. But again, like Andrew said, if you want to, go ahead. John, what do you think?
I think it's a really interesting game. I'm probably not gonna get it though.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like the general consensus is
Yeah.
like we all
So
really
yeah,
we all just want to
official.
watch someone else play it basically.
Yep. I really only want to see the scenes with the metal ladies. Everything else is probably just boring nerd gamer stuff. I don't really care.
Oh, this coming from you. That's hilarious.
Okay, fair. Gaming podcast though. This is not a gaming podcast. I don't know why we always talk about video games because it's not a
I think
gaming
it's a
podcast.
theme,
Really.
you know?
And to prove
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's not a
No,
gaming
Tom, there is
podcast.
no theme.
there is no theme.
That's true. That's true.
Or
The only
direction,
theme is that
or
there is no theme.
idea within any of our heads.
But to
Might
prove
not
it's not
be
a
a-
gaming podcast,
There
let's
might not
talk
be a
about
theme.
something that isn't about games.
We might not have a theme, but there is a meme that's slowly dying. The only in Ohio meme.
Oh,
Worst-
boy,
You know-
howdy.
Worst timing
Boy,
ever.
howdy.
Lee's worst timing ever. Literally, as soon as it dies, something actually happens in Ohio.
Oh boy, has it. Very recently was a train. It's actually a tragedy, so no laughing, please.
Okay, got it.
There was no laughing.
9-year-olds, restrain yourself from saying only in Ohio, please.
There is a train derailed in the Ohio boonies. And believe it or not, 9-year-olds, people do live in Ohio. And this train derailed and it had some like toxic sludge stuff. I think it was like for like something, I don't know. But it poured into the local water supply. And a lot of people in Ohio, in the rural areas, they don't get running water. They have their own wells they draw from. And it's leaked into the ground. Basically, the Ohio officials have been like, yo, don't drink water because it's contaminated, it might fry your brain, whatever. However, this is a big tragedy. They're not sure what to do. It's messed up with like train lines because this train is just like chilling, falling over. I don't have updated events on this, but if one of y'all want to look it up while I'm yammering, please do. But I don't think it's been resolved as of now. But if you go on TikTok or anywhere to try to look up a video of this tragedy, the top comment without fail is "only in Ohio" skull emoji.
Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they
I think
can
that really-
do that.
It brings up a lot of questions about meme culture, right? Like the fact that a tragedy.
dang,
Okay,
it's getting
Queen
deep.
Elizabeth's death, because Queen Elizabeth died. All of Britain was like, "Oi, mate! Oh, I'm real sad that the Queen Lizzie died, bruv. Let's go get a pint and join a little bit of banter." I assume is how they talk, but
At least the true
like
Brexit geezers talk.
all the true Brexit geezers were over at Toby's, having a pint and
Love those
crying
memes.
over Queen Lizzie dying. She was a good woman, and I don't want to talk about the social justice warriors who were happy she died because, like, she was a part of a country that was at one point a big colonizer place or whatever. Not the
Heads
point
up,
of
you probably were
Palestine.
too.
Yeah,
Wherever you
exactly.
are, you probably were too.
Yep. Spoiler alert, guys. Most countries were bad at some point, or most of them still are, actually. But the main thing they were memeing it is that people making jokes about her dying. And I immediately went to Jay Schlatt because he was actually in Great Britain while it happened. And the meme with Jay Schlatt is that he is
Oh
gonna
my
kill
gosh, I saw that.
Yeah, me too.
He was like, I swear I didn't have nothing to do with it. It was great. But
Did you see the one
I
about
think-
him calling the Queen Elizabeth's husband's death? Like the exact
Yep, that's where it all started. That's where it all started. Just a coincidence and things got crazy. But the other deal, the thing is though, I think that while the memes have gotten bad, also anyone who start trying to do the trend of only in Oklahoma, you're a monster and you need to stop.
please.
Keep it in Ohio, only in Ohio. With that being said,
That was
memes
poetic.
recently,
That was
I kind of
beautiful.
enjoyed. Thank you. I kind of enjoyed 2022 memes, but I think there are a couple memes from the past that I would like to remember. Those being the first one I want to talk about is, does anyone here remember they did surgery on a grape?
No.
I kind
Okay.
of do.
So go back if y'all want to go into the general text channel. We record these on Discord. If you want to know how scuffed this setup is, but it works pretty well. I posted a picture. Basically, they had this surgery machine, and to prove how precise this like machine was, which this is some Skynet BS already. But the idea being, you could have a doctor use this machine to do surgery, maybe even remotely, like if the doctor couldn't get you in time or whatever. And to prove how precise it was, they did surgery on a grape where they cut open a grape with this machine. They like skinned one. And for whatever reason, that people like the meme started of they did surgery on a grape, and it was just everywhere. Like for instance, it would be like a news article, because all the news places were posting it. It was the most like it was like this weird thing. So people would be like, a war breaks out in Syria. Shut up, no one cares. Look, they did surgery on a grape, like that. Does that make sense?
That seems
Rip.
like the internet.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Thanos' car. And nothing to do with this. It was just a picture of a purple car with just this abnormally, weirdly groovy thing going from over its wheel spokes. And it just because Thanos has a bumpy chin. This is back like 2018, 16, like that area where Thanos was like a big deal because of Infinity War. So Thanos' car naturally became a big thing. And then the last one I want to talk about, y'all remember Big Chungus?
Oh, everyone does.
Everyone
That
remembers
was a
Big
good
Chungus.
time.
It was.
Those were the good old days. Big Chungus, what a good man.
You want to know? You
fellow.
want to know my favorite old one?
What?
You fool! I have 70 alternative accounts. I don't know why I like that one. I just do.
I forgot
just
about
do.
that one.
Yes. You fool! I have 70 alternative accounts. Oh, that's a good one.
You fool! I have 70 alternative accounts. Honestly, that's so much better than like the modern.
Yes, it just applies to like so much. I don't even know why.
I have so many alt accounts too. I don't know why I've made so many. It's just for like I'll have
I
these
think we
projects.
can all
like,
identify with it. Maybe that's why it was so successful.
because like for instance, I'll be like, oh, I'll randomly on a whim be like, I should start a new brand and then just make a new email and crap and I won't do anything with it. I have so many useless emails I don't use. I do stuff like that where I'll just impulsively do something. Like the other day, I spent a whole day looking for a World War II era gas mask, and I found one for $22 on Etsy with $22 shipping. And I showed my dad. I was like, "Dad, I think I'm gonna buy this." He was like, "Well, that's cool, but like, what are you gonna do with it?" I was like, "Crap, I don't know.
Definitely
know.
not anything. Nothing at all.
So I didn't buy it, but I was just like, I spent this whole day like looking for various. I was sick, so I don't have much else to do. But I spent a lot of that day like just searching desperately, trying to find this.
The objective is to have it though. Like
Yeah.
I would love
Like
an 18th century plague doctor mask. You know.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Like
you could probably
it's
find
about
one
buying
just
it
fine.
so that you can enjoy it for a little bit and then you can sell it later at a higher price, just like a car.
Well, this wasn't real though. This is like a proxy. It's a replica.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a collector's, like Pawn Stars or something. You can take that on
if
there.
it was $22,
and,
I would have bought it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and they'll be like, okay, well, I have a buddy who's an expert in World War II gas masks, so I'll just call him and let him get it. I'll just call him and have him stop by and check, and oh man.
Honestly, I could appraise this for around $2,000. Really, I'll give you $20 for it.
I'm gonna have to go with 1950. Maybe 25. 30. Yeah, 30. Okay, good deal. And that's how that show went on for so long.
Yes, it is.
Anything new with the sports? Like going on with sports?
Well, funny you should ask because I guess it is time once again for my sports segment. So, if you are new around here, I read GWASMDSHIGTASFOM. I'm getting better at that with every podcast, by the way. So this week's sports segment is going to be kind of in two halves, really, because it was a bit of a lamer sports weekend. But the first one I want to talk about first thing is the MLS season opener. Yeah, I know. Soccer in America. Ha. Yeah, you laugh. Nobody cares. We're Americans. Blah, blah, blah. It's football. No, it's not. It's American football and American soccer, okay? We're in America. I don't know why I need to explain this so much. But anyways, Major League Soccer season opener was this weekend. The 2022 runners-up Philadelphia Union started off hot with a 4-1 win over Columbus FC. Western Conference is led by the Seattle Sounders and their 4-0 crushing of Colorado. I mean, that's really what it was. Led by, I think, Carranza is his name, who scored 3 of these goals. Reigning champions, LAFC. All the LAFC fans out there, if you're watching, this one's for you. They were supposed to play Portland. They will play Portland on Saturday, but they were originally supposed to play LA Galaxy, which that would have been a pretty cool game. I'm not even really that into MLS, but I would have watched that if I could, which would have been crazy, but that was canceled due to bad weather because there's also a lot of bad blizzard stuff happening in the Southern California area right now. St. Louis City Soccer Club. This is their first year in MLS, and they won their debut match over Austin FC 3-2. They look to be promising and are already second in Western Conference. So that was basically the first half. Other just miscellaneous things from the sports world. Speaking of Southern California, Kyle Busch dominated the last stage of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Auto Club to win his second race with a new team, which I think is pretty cool. Damian Lillard tied the season record of single game scoring with 71 points against the Houston Rockets. He is the 8th player in NBA history to do so, and the first and only, so far, NBA player in history to do it in 40 minutes. Dang, that's crazy. Jake Paul loses his first fight, quote unquote, in his career against Tommy Fury, but this is dumb because it was a split decision, and Paul should have lost by now. I mean, come on, Floyd Mayweather's hugging match comes to mind. That's just me personally. And then lastly, Lionel Messi won the Best Male Soccer Player award from FIFA, and he's the GOAT, so, keep crying, Ronaldo fans. That's about it for me, though. So thanks for listening.
So I really thought we were going to get through a whole one without circle moving being involved, but we didn't do it. And you know what? I'm not too upset about that because we can't really seem to escape circle moving on this podcast. You know what else we can't escape, guys? Anime.
For real, I type out the itineraries of these, and I do not plan to put in a segment, but we end up talking about it.
Same with Minecraft, and it's not a gaming podcast either, or an anime podcast, but we always mention it, and we just make sure to never acknowledge either one of those as being a thing on promotional material. Otherwise, it kind of ruins the whole vibe. But yeah, speaking of not being able to escape, geez, this works so well. I finished The Promised Neverland, and I don't have too much to say about it because I don't want to spoil it for the good viewers of this podcast, or I guess listeners. But it's very good. I don't know about the second season. Season 1.
Okay, so Jesse.
Season 1 is very good, and the ending was very satisfying. And it had sort of, they did twists, but they were good twists. And it was very good. It was the opposite of Erased. Erased was so good, then the ending was bad. This was mediocre, and the ending was very, very good. So, just the middle part was more mediocre than the ending. Ending kind of saves it.
Yeah. I will definitely look into that. I think I said that last week, and then I promptly forgot about it. I'm sorry. But I'm going to look into that. Don't worry.
Any cool anime anyone's been watching right now?
I'm watching this one. I think it's called, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. It's called, Aoashi or something, I think. It's a sports anime, which is a neat idea because I like sports and I like anime. So I thought I'd like this. And the only description, if you are thinking of watching this, the only description I'll give it is good. Just good. The characters are good. The storyline is good. The plot is good. Not really too many standout characters. None of it's really bad. I've enjoyed it. I'm just kind of working my way through it. But it's just nothing exceptional about it that I have to say. It's all just very good. And the main character can be kind of an idiot sometimes, but hey, aren't they all, right? I think that's pretty true. So altogether, if you're thinking of watching it, go ahead, especially if you like soccer, because it is really cool. And it actually was one of the reasons why I started started watching a bit more game highlights on YouTube of UEFA Champions League and MLS and stuff. I got a little inspired there. But it's okay. Yeah, I'd recommend it, I guess. What about you guys?
I know it's a good anime. I haven't seen it. I've just heard people recommend it.
Yeah, it's just good. It's just there's not really anything exceptional about it. I'm gonna finish it and then I'm gonna probably forget about it, and then 9 months later when I'm thinking about it, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was good. It's just nothing, not even any of the characters really stand out to me, except for one. He's pretty cool. But just, I don't know. It's all just kind of good, really. But what about you guys?
I don't really have anything else on this part.
I haven't really had a lot of time, but Naruto has been getting good.
That's cool.
I got like 4 or 6 seasons left, and one character
Yeah.
just strolled into basically NATO and declared World War IV. So that was really
What
interesting.
happened to World War III?
It already happened in
Oh.
Naruto.
Oh, I didn't know it was like real world. I thought it was like in a fantasy world, but I don't really know a lot
Yeah,
about it.
it's
So.
basically just a great ninja war.
They have a lot of
Oh.
big wars.
Huh. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
They like their wars.
They do like war.
And speaking of which,
Speaking of war,
oh gosh,
um,
I'm terrible.
um, is it okay if I do my segment, boys?
Yeah, sure,
Yep.
go ahead.
Okay, so if you don't know how this works, this podcast is pretty jovial overall, but it's my job to tear that all down for about 1 minute, exactly 1 minute, not about. I
He
have
does it
1
so
minute
well,
on the
trust
clock
me.
as a timer, and I am going to talk about something very serious for exactly 1 minute, and I have to shut up immediately when the 1 minute timer goes. So, is
So
everyone
fast
strapped
forward
in
1
and ready?
minute. Fast forward 1 minute,
Yes.
everyone, so my sports segment can get more clicks than his.
Right, I'm gonna say go, and then y'all fast forward 1 minute ahead, and then so if you want to be spared the seriousness, but otherwise keep listening. So you guys ready? Everyone strapped in?
All right, let's do this.
3,
3,
2,
2, 1.
go. So, if everyone remembers, Vladimir Putin, back in around 2020 something, was it 2022? I think it was, made some pretty big waves when he declared war on Ukraine. We all thought it was going to be a small conflict, nothing big was going to happen, but it wasn't.
Special
Because
military operation.
what he called was a small military operation, a denazification, was not. It was a full on invasion, and the Ukrainian people have been just destroying him. He has been eating it. Eating it. And it has been, isn't it with a 1 year anniversary at this point? I think it is.
Yeah,
Of when
we
he
just celebrated it.
declared an invasion of Ukraine, trying to annex them, and he has failed absolutely miserably. And you know what? Burn, sad Vlad, burn. I want to see you fail in every way possible. You do not have the what's it called of the Late Night Ramblings of Madmen podcast, and you never will. And if you ever try to touch America, we will destroy you faster than an easy bake oven can destroy some various ingredients, and it's over.
Okay, you know what came to mind? You know what? I just want to say what came to mind. I'm a big oversimplified fan, and I was just watching like 2 weeks ago the Pig War video, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but I'm about to spoil the ending. So he basically just does that, except like a joke as America invading Canada, and like we have the manpower and the guns, and they can't really do anything about it. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. But that's
Oh,
what
I
came.
That video
That's
is
what came to mind.
hilarious.
Dude, I encourage all of you after the podcast, of course, to go and just look up oversimplified pig war ending. It's so funny. He gets so passionate about it, and like he's like always like pretty chill and like even
Right.
tempered about it, and like he just gets so passionate, and that's exactly like that serious minute just kind of devolved into that, and that's
Yep.
exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought
It's
of.
true though. We would shred Canada. They can't do anything.
Yeah, right. I mean,
We have more guns, more people, more.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we? Why don't we just
Yeah.
manifest our destiny already, right?
That's what I'm saying. And then Mexico's
man.
We
next.
shouldn't have stopped Manifest Destiny.
We tried with
our
Mexico,
way
you
over
know,
there.
We did that went bad.
for them at
This is
least.
starting to get too serious.
Yeah, you know what? No. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Yeah. What's something goofy we got, guys?
Let's see. Oh yeah, recently I played a game, and if you're watching the far future, you should actually go and check on my channel, SuperSpartoi. And you should, yeah, you should look for it. It's called The Supper is the name of the game. It was an indie game. It's free on Steam, and I played it. It's like a pixelated point and click adventure puzzle game. It's very grim. It's kind of gory at times. It's all pixelated, so it's no big deal. But it was like a 20-minute story, and it was just very nice, and the ending was a surprise, and it was very good. I really enjoyed playing it.
You know,
And I recommend it to y'all.
for all the crap I give about Andrew deep diving and researching and going down rabbit holes that are frankly a waste of time, he does know how to find a good diamond in the rough indie game. I will give you that, my friend.
He does.
If
It's
you
true. You
want
should all go play this. I was so pleasantly surprised by it. It just looked like it almost looked like the vibe of it looked like when you'd be bored in school and try to find a free game, like a browser game on like Cool Math Games or something. And it had that
man,
vibe, but it was so
love
good.
Cool Math
This would
Games.
not be on Cool Math Games though. All spoiler alert: people end up in a meat grinder.
Oh dang!
And it's not as gory as you'd imagine. There's just like an abnormally large spray of red pixels, and then it's all good.
I think my favorite Cool Math game was always Bob the Robber.
Bob the
I don't
Robber.
Or
Oh,
Learn to Fly 2.
Cool
Learn to
Math
Fly 2
Games.
was really good.
Disney Pixar is making a Cool Math Games movie. Apparently, that's not true. But it's
What?
called Elemental. It's called Elemental, and the main characters are a fire boy and a water or a
Oh,
fire
yeah!
boy.
I remember that. Yes, I remember that. I remember seeing that. Well, that's all we have to talk
I
about
don't believe
today.
that's all we have. We have one more subject.
All
Let's
right.
not rush ahead, Grant. I wanted to mention something recently I think our good listeners would find very interesting. So we all know about, I think card games are pretty much dominated by the big three right now. Everyone knows about Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, right? But there has been a new, since I think like 2020 is when it sort of blew up, there's been a card game that has been vying for a spot of four in the big three. It's an indie game called
MLB trading cards are coming back from the 80s, baby! Let's go!
Dear Lord.
But
Again, as a sports
it's
fan,
called
I would not be
Metazoo.
opposed.
And I assume y'all like cryptids, right? I like cryptids. And this is a cryptid related trading card game. And it is so fun. The thing is, you can find booster boxes of it for like cheaper than normal because booster boxes of like Magic the Gathering, of like Pokemon, for instance, is $100. You can find booster boxes of this, like set one for 60. And I've gotten two booster boxes in my lifetime, opened both of them, and it was more fun than opening Pokemon cards, in my opinion. I don't know why, but if it were
So why don't
Where
you
do
more
you
describe
find
it?
them?
Oh, okay. We're online pretty much exclusively. There's a card game a card store in my area that carries them, but they're very hard to find. You would have to go through secondary sellers online. It's like a card game, right? I've never played and I'm never gonna play because there's no one to play with, but they're like
Oh,
like
dang.
Pokemon cards. I've
You
heard the
still got a
game
long
is
way to
fun,
go.
After
but
this, tell me where I can get them. Because
absolutely.
I'm interested, and then we can play each other.
Yeah, it would be awesome actually. The best place to get them is online though, because you can find them for a lot cheaper than like normal. But I'll see if I can find you some good websites. If I find any good websites to get them, I will not be linking in the description because then you'll all buy them and not me. But I'll tell you, John. Um, but
Hey, perks of being a
it's
host.
like exactly. I would check it out though for all of you. But it's like the art style is what draws me to it the most. I also like the formatting of the cards, like the vibrant colors they use. But it's all traditional art, nothing digital. So it's in like that classic Kintsugi Mori original sets of Pokemon style that I think a lot of people love. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
love
so
the
cool.
aesthetic.
Oh
It looks
yeah.
so good. And it's all cryptid things. So it's like Bigfoot, Babe the Blue Ox, Mothman. Oh, also, I still have yet to pull a Mothman. That's the rarest card. And people really love the Mothman. It's a cool artwork. But I also heard the interview, I listened to
They
one
have
with the girl who
Mothman?
drew the Mothman. They have Mothman, yeah. It's like their chase card, like the Charizard, basically. But
I want
Oh,
that
I
so
heard an interview
badly.
with the artist of it. She's like a veterinarian in training at like vet school who draws stuff on the side. And the leader of the guy who's a NASA, the guy who made it, Mike Waddell, he is a NASA scientist. He quit his job at NASA to do this. Um, and okay, I will say I have a lot of faith in it. I love it, but if he keeps doing what he's doing and like dabbling in crypto, like an actual cryptocurrency, then things might go downhill for this
that's
game.
gonna
But
go down
I am
pretty
actually,
quick.
yeah, I'm collecting set one of it, and it's been really fun so far. Um, but yeah, everything about it just is very cool to me. But I heard the interview with her, and she was just like, "Yeah, I don't know why everyone likes my card art so much. She just did it for like I don't know, like probably like I'd imagine maybe like $70, that sort of range based on like the
Wow.
quality and the design of it. She didn't say, but
Wow,
she's not making
that's
works for the game. She just made a couple originally, and she just wants to be a veterinarian. She doesn't want to be an artist.
Huh.
So respect to
So
grind for her
respectful.
though. Wanted to be a
So
vet.
so
That's pretty
then
cool.
one thing you got to ask is, what does it look like for the future once she becomes a vet? What's the future of this card game going to be? It sounds like it still has a long way to go to even like touch the top 3.
That's not going to be an
So,
issue with her because she just made that one card art, and then everything had. There's like
oh,
a big
okay.
variety of
I
artists.
thought she was the one making all of them. Okay.
No, just the Mothman. Everything else is other artists. Thank you for mentioning that. It's all other artists, and their art is very good. I will say though, the reason I'm collecting set one is the art. It's sad. It peaked in set one. Um,
Dang.
Everything else, like there's the style of the game has changed, and it all looks significantly worse. But set one was just amazing.
As it always
And
is.
I hope the art gets better, but I don't know if it will. But I hope it does. It reminds me of y'all know Jake Paul, right? You mentioned him losing his
Yeah.
fight. He tried to make something else called CryptoZoo, which is a crypto. So
Oh
basically,
yeah.
you would spend Ethereum on these eggs, right? And then the eggs would hatch. They give you like a picture of an animal, like a penguin or something. You can look these up; they're disgusting. And you would like there's just a
I've
normal
never heard
picture,
of
and then
this. Oh my
you
gosh.
would fuse them into a unique what's it called, NFT, and that NFT was just these disgusting amalgamations of animals. Let me
Oh,
find one and show
that
them to you.
sounds that no.
It's
And
disgusting.
Just stick to hugging
um
people and calling it a boxing match, bro. It's not for you.
I am
TCGs are not for you, dude.
perfectly I am per they're not essentially it's NFTs, dude.
Oh.
Um it's like so much worse.
Which are kind of, let's think, I mean, being honest, they're kind of just online TCGs when you think about it.
Not even a little bit, but yeah, sure.
Wow, that's just my ignorant opinion.
No, it's okay. Sorry, that was a bit much. The difference here is with a card game, you collect them, you can do stuff with them, they're real, even an online card, but you can play with them, right? NFTs are just terrible, poorly drawn images and stuff. But it fell off, like it got destroyed so quickly. And the
That's
funniest
true.
part of all this is there is the video of him on the podcast where he's like distraught on how it didn't go well. And it was like, of course it didn't go well. It was a crypto scam. What do you mean? It's a
Duh.
puppet dope. Like you, I do not like Jake Paul personally.
Yeah.
He's never been good.
Yeah, honestly, it's nice that his career has been left hanging.
Someone end this.
Anyway,
Okay, is it the Japan thing? Okay, go ahead.
it's about that time.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
It is about that time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Grant, do you have anything to close us out with?
Well, I've just had a lot of fun recording tonight, and yeah, just thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're awesome. If you didn't make it this far, then I don't know how you're listening to it, but you're still awesome. So, that's cool. And yeah, just tune in next week, I guess. That's the lamest final thoughts ever.
Pretty bad. Andrew, you
At
guys.
least there's positivity. It's just like, yeah, it's pretty bad. At least there's positivity. Yay, positivity. Andrew, final thoughts.
My final thoughts. All right, sorry, I was making sure you were done. For basically, what y'all need. I have enjoyed recording this as I always do. If you have enjoyed as much as we have enjoyed, tell us by leaving a like. And if you hated it, leave a like and a comment. And if you would like to see more of this, subscribe. And if you are so mad that you want to see more of it so that you can comment on it, also subscribe. And if you want to be notified whenever these come out for either reason, hit the notification bell. Also, you can find both me and John elsewhere. Listen. You can find both me and John elsewhere. I would be under SuperSpartoi. By the time you're watching this, I probably do gaming related video essays, and I play through Skyrim for abhorrent amounts of time, and I just kind of say nothing or babble incoherently while you watch the gameplay. I mentioned if you don't want to actually play through a 20-minute game, if you can't bear that, or if you don't have a computer, or no Steam or something, and you want to see the supper, I recommend you watch my video, which would hopefully be out by now. But yeah, John?
And you can find me on Twitch at red_dot 66. And I will see you all next time.